You know, when I was working in different factory, I didn't create anything. I was just part of the system. You do a little bit here and you give to the next one, so on. And I always wanted to create something. That's why one day I say, okay, I start alone by myself.
Hello to all and welcome on Watches TV, and we have quite a special video to share with you, as the other day I had the great chance of visiting our good friend Philippe Dufort in the heart of beautiful Vallée de Joux. And as you may know, well, Philippe Dufort is currently enjoying an incredible recognition of what he has brought on the watchmaking planet. His vision, the trace he set many years ago, this commitment to tradition and quality is today fully acknowledged and recognized, but of course this didn't happen overnight. His watches are indeed fetching incredible prices on the auction scene, and with this overall success, well, people talk more about you, but sometimes reality is slightly distorted, and therefore he simply wanted to take this opportunity to set the record straight, because like any artist, there are things which simply can't let you indifferent, so that's the way it is. So in this interview, we come back on how and why he became independent with all the hurdles that come along, the risks he took to achieve his first watch under his name, even had to mortgage his house to do so, but of course, it was no ordinary timepiece, a grande sonnerie for your wrist, and we are talking early 90s. But we'll also come back on some recent changes, as his business has become a full family business with a very special brother, and very importantly, his wife and daughter more than ever by his side to continue this amazing adventure. But for those of you wanting to follow in his footsteps, well, there is also some piece of advice for you. Enjoy and feel the wisdom.
During 5 years, I did restoration for auction people, for collector, for museum, and mostly pocket watches. And I realized on 10 complicated pocket watches I had for restoration, 7 were basically made in the Vallée de Joux. And that pushed me to say the old people did it in the Valley with old tools. I'm going to try to do it again, and with some tools I bought from 1900, I did my first movement, which was a Grand Sonnerie minute repeater, pocket size, 19 line. Okay, it was my first one. And this watch I presented to different people around Switzerland, shops, collectors, and everybody used to say, yes, carry on. But nobody trusts me, nobody ordered me anything. They always say, why don't you work with a brand? So I present that to a brand in Le Brasseur, AP, and they ordered me 5 watches. It was about 5 years work, because it took me 2,000 hours to make one watch. Not easy to work for other, and on top of that, on 5 watches I broke 2. I don't want to give you too much detail, but for me it was enough. And one day I said no more for other. I try again, and I chose to make something. When you start, you need to do something special. Otherwise, it's difficult to be recognized. So I decided to take this pocket-size Grand Sonnerie to reduce in a wristwatch. It took me 2.5 years to make it. I don't know if today I could do it again. I work not 24 hours, but I don't know, maybe 12 hours a day, every day during 2.5 years, even Sunday with Christmas. Okay, and finally I reached the end, and I presented the watch in Basel in '92. That was my first watch under my name. Okay. And then, of course, the watch, I wanted to sell the watch to refound because I dig a lot of holes, to make this project. And so one day I traveled, because I met somebody from Singapore in Geneva. He wanted to see the watch, and he asked me to go and present the watch in Singapore. So took a plane and I went there, and I spent 10 days dealing with people over there. And finally, I sold the first one, and I had 3 on orders. I would say thank you to these people because they trust me, you know, and of course they understood what was my philosophy. So when I think about that, and when I see, when I read some articles, you know, explaining that we finance Dufur to do this type of work, that made me a bit sick, you know, because, you know, this period was so difficult for me. Unfortunately, I had the help of Italian collector who helped me a little bit. Otherwise, I couldn't finish, you know. And when I read something like Simplicité is made with value movement, that makes me sick, you know. And or this person or this group, you know, finance me to do this or this. No, I did it and then they bought it. That's different, you know.
But today, when you see in auction houses, indeed, some of your watches going for absolutely crazy money, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, of course, I feel very, very happy. It's recognition, you know. I don't know where it's going to stop, but I mean, it's still claiming. If somebody owns one of my watch, you know, you can do what you want with it, you know. If you want to sell it on auction, that's it. Yeah. The watch will go from one collector to another, but maybe not more. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a chain. I think people are buying because it's the way it's done. You know, probably. I hope.
Yeah. And I guess you prefer to know that people are actually enjoying and wearing your watches instead of just putting it.
Exactly. Yes, it's very important. I always say to the watch owner, a mechanical watch, you know, wear your watches, and if you don't wear it, at least wind it every week. You know, like that, everything moves and the oil stays at the right place, you know, because it's horrible to leave a watch 1 year in a safe and suddenly you go and you wind it. You know, it's like if you leave your car in the garage 1 year and suddenly you want to use it, you know, the oil is not the right place and so on, and you can damage something. The fact that we put the first 20th anniversary Simplicité on auction was the idea of my brother, my friend Claude Fair. Okay, he said we have to put that on auction. Okay, and the result was just crazy, you know. And since then we organized differently, you know, because I cannot handle everything anymore. You know, it's too much for me, and so today. Claude Fair is in charge of all the commercial side. My wife, Elizabeth, is in charge of the communication. And of course, I've got my daughter now, which is in the workshop with me since 2 weeks now. She finished her study in the technical school. So we're working like a team now. Everything I did it for a purpose, you know. And this, for me, I'm happy that I'm sure when I'm gone, things will carry, you know. And she has the responsibility of doing that.
And how do you see the future of watchmaking within 5, 10, 20 years from now?
I think for the independent watchmaking, I think the year will be better and better because we have the knowledge You know, on the customer side, the knowledge is here and more because of the modern media, you know. And when you see some blogs from a group of collectors, you know, it's just crazy. They show pictures, macro picture of a screw, and to say this screw is better than this one, you know. They understand what it's all about, you know. This is very, very important. I mean, for the young watchmaker who want to be independent, to make their own product, I think the road is done, you know what I mean? And for the big brand, of course, we know some big brand that will have no problem, okay? But some other brand, sometimes famous brand, I think going to be more difficult. I always say we have to put the human back in the product, in the watch, you know, the human touch, it's very important. And some watches are aimless.
What would be the kind of the piece of advice that you could give to a young watchmaker that is starting his career today?
Yes, I always say it's about first he had to erase some words in the vocabulary. It's weekends, holidays, and retirement, you know. When this is done, you can start. You know, and also I would advise the young watchmaker want to start something. He has to trace a line, a red line, you know, and to try to follow the line. And at the end, he will have success, but not going left or right. No, go straight.
It's been 2 weeks that I'm working at the workshop with my father. And during the time I did the technical school to be a watchmaker, my father and me decided to do a simplicity, like that I could have been able to learn. He told me that the first simplicity I will do will be for me. So
That's push you, huh?
that pushed me a
Yeah.
lot. I did the same thing as my father, so the movement A to Z. And for me, the highest challenge was the beveling, because for me, he's the master of beveling. So
Yeah, and also you did all the hairspring work, and
Yeah.
I was surprised.
yeah.
It was a good surprise.
With the time and a lot of works, I will maybe be able to continue and carry on your work. What
You will be able. You have to do. That's
have,
different.
and I will.
Okay.
I think it's important to show that the independent watchmaker are able to give passion, to transmit an emotion with their watches. And I remember it was a little bit difficult for me when I was still a student at the technical school, because when I was doing something, if it's good, his father did it for her. And if it was bad, your father never showed you something. It was like you have this little pressure that you're the daughter of. And you don't have to forget that I'm a woman. People don't see me as a mixed person, but see me as a black person. And I'm the daughter of Philippe Dufort, and it's a
lot.
It's a lot here. Yeah. I knew racism, jealousy. I knew a lot of things.
Now, what's the challenge?
Yeah, I turned the page, and now the challenge is to be able to do everything in the workshop with my father, to continue the line he took during all these years, and to be able to wake up every morning, come here still with passion, and be able to look at me in the mirror and say, yeah, you can. You know who you are, you know where you're from, you know what you did and what you will be tomorrow.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope things are clearer for some now, and love to witness that stubbornness and staying true to oneself is often the key to your success. Not always easy, but worth giving it a shot, and therefore the best of luck to Daniela. She for sure has a bit of pressure on her shoulders, but with her will and determination, Well, I'm pretty sure she will excel when you have the best teacher next to you passing tons of experience. And to be clear, well, Philip said she started 2 weeks ago, but don't worry, I mean, she has been hanging in that workshop since a long time already. How couldn't you when you have this blessed opportunity? Well, thanks for watching, see you real soon, and viva watchmaking!
I cried. I remember I cried. You remember?
Yeah.
Because it was a big moment for me. It was a moment I told myself, yeah, I'm capable to do something amazing.